Hey, welcome back to my devlog series where I'm making a Mario Maker-like platformer for the Playdate. Last week, I was thinking about what to do with the art style and also how I wanted to set up the tiles in the game to balance level transfer time with level creation flexibility. I found this asset pack that had a nice low-resolution art style, so I decided to try making a mockup. I thought it looked a lot better, so I switched out the art style of the game to match. I thought the high contrast of the black background looked pretty good on the device. Next, after thinking about the design of the levels for a bit, I settled on making it so that there's 3 set heights for the platforms to be at. How I set this up is just having different letter codes correspond to different heights. So each block that can be at different heights would have to use 3 separate letters. I realized that by only having a max height of 3, this would limit the complexity of levels that can be made. But especially with the new simplified art style, I decided that I want to go in the direction of a more simple platformer. This didn't need to be some sort of super complex game with crazy levels. I was having an issue with some hazards like the turret bullets staying after you're hit, so sometimes you got into this stun lock situation. In response, I made it so that it would clear all the projectiles on the screen after you were hit. Afterwards, I realized that it might be worth it to reset the position of everything on the screen as well. For example, these moving platforms, since when you create a level, you might design it with the platform at its starting position, but I haven't got around to it yet. I added a new obstacle, which is this horizontally moving spike that bounces back and forth between any walls. As I was adding this, I started thinking about what the level editor would look like, and then I realized that it would be best to normalize all the obstacles to the same width so that you can easily switch out any 2 obstacles. That's what I ended up doing next, so you can see that everything is 1 block wide. There's some issues with it, like the adjacent moving platforms being separated because they're 2 separate blocks, but I think I'll eventually write some fixes for it, like combining any adjacent platforms. I thought a stationary spike would make for a good obstacle that you can combine with the moving platform, so I added that into the game. There's also this bug for when you ran into a wall, it will still build up your horizontal momentum. So if you jumped, it would move at the max speed as soon as you passed the wall. In this clip, I increased the max speed just to demonstrate what's going on. I fixed this by resetting your horizontal velocity if you're touching a wall. As I was recording this, I found that the increased speed for the demo was pretty fun to play around with, so I might add some sort of launchpad in the future. Before I sign off, I want to mention that there's been some updates to my book. I just added a small chapter on libraries, and we also got a Spanish translation by the awesome work of one of the members of this community. Check it out if you're interested in learning programming to make Playdate games. This week's build of the game is up on my Patreon if you want to poke around at the source code. Next week, I think I'm going to be working on the level editor, so if you don't want to miss it, subscribe. See you next week.